Open your book to page 191. This is lesson 6.4. This lesson is about multiplying signed numbers. So first, on the bottom of page 191, there's a term called the multiplicative identity. The multiplicative identity means that whenever you multiply any number by 1, you get the identical numbers. So for example, if you have a times 1, this will equal to a. So this is the multiplicative identity property. Okay, so think about the word multiplicative means multiplication, right? Identity means same, right? So you multiply and you're going to remain the same. Okay? So that means you multiply by 1. And this 1 is called the multiplicative identity element. Okay? So again, if you look in your book, so this is multiplicative identity element. Okay, so let's go example of how to multiply. See, when you multiply, if you have two of the same sign, then you get your answer will be positive. If you have two factors, so each of these is called a factor. So if you have two factors that have different signs, then you're going to get a negative. Okay. So on page 192, example 1, you have 3 times 5. And so this will equal to 15. Because both are the same sign, so you're going to get positive. Okay, so positive times positive will give you positive. And example 2, you have 6 times 2, this will equal to 12. So it can give you the positive. Example 3, you have 3 times negative 2. Okay, so again, when you multiply, 3 times 2 is 6, and there are different signs, so there's one negative, so it give you a negative. Let's go to example 4. You have 2 times negative 6. So 2 times 6 is 12, and you have one negative, so answer will be negative. So again, you got opposite sign, you're going to end up with a negative. Or another way to remember is that if you have odd number of negatives, you're going to get negatives, right? Because two negatives will make a positive. Okay, let's go to example 5. Example 5, you have negative 1 times 5, so this will equal to negative 5. Right? Again, so you have negative times positive will give you negative. Let's go to example 6. You have negative 1 times 8, so this will give you negative 8. Okay, so again, yeah, one negative times positive will give you negative. On page 193, example 7, you have negative 5 times negative 4. So this will equal to 20 because negative times negative will give you positive. Again, the way to think of it is, so you have negative and you got negative, right? Two negatives become positive. So that's another way to remember. So a positive is made out of two negatives. Again, so you got negative, negative, you can make into a plus. Okay, so you can continue. So example 8, negative 7 times 4. So this would be negative 28. So again, negative times positive will give you negative. When you have opposite sign, it will give you negative. Example 9, you got negative 14 times negative 10. So this will equal to positive 140. Because negative times negative will give you positive. Okay. Let's go to example 10. Okay, on page 194. Example 10. You're multiplying 4.5 times negative 1 and a third. So when you have mixed numbers, you need to go and convert into improper fraction before you multiply. So this is equal to 9 over 2. This is equal to negative 4 over 3. And then when you multiply, what you want to do, you want to cancel things out so you don't end up wasting time to make a number big and you have to make it small again. So 3 and 9 you can divide by 3, so you get 1, you get 3. 2 and 4 you can divide by 2, so divide by 2 you get 1. This one you divide by 2 you get 2. Now watch, there's a negative, so be careful with the negative. So your answer would be 3 times negative 2 will give you negative 6 over 1, so it would be negative 6. Let's go to example 11. Example 11, you're multiplying decimals. So you got negative 2.7 times negative 4.6. Okay, so you go off to the side. Okay, let's make this a little bit better. So when you're doing the multiplication, you probably want to use the vertical method. So now when you multiply, don't worry about the sign right now. Just focus on the number. So you got 2.7, 4.6, right? So 6 times 7 is 42. Write down 2, carry 4. 2 times 6 is 12 plus the 4 will give you 16. And now you multiply. Now because this is a 4, you have to start over here, not over here, right? So 4 times 7 is 28. So write down 8. Okay, carry 2. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay, so you can make sure none of your digits. So when using the 6, you none up below the 6. When you're using the 4, you none up below the 4. So you're going to get 2. This would be 14, carry 1, so it would be 2 and 1. And there are 2 decimal places, 1, 2, so you go 1, 2, so it would be right over here. So this will equal to, now negative times negative will give you positive. So answer would be 12.42. Okay, so it would be 12.42. Okay, let's go to example 12. You multiply negative 2 times negative 5 times negative 3. So when you do this, right, sometimes it's easy if you just go and take care of the sign first. So negative, negative, negative. So this 2 will make it positive. And positive times negative will give you negative. So in other words, this, if you have an odd number of negative, it will give you a negative. And after that, you multiply the number. So do the sign, then do the number. 2 times 5 is 10, times 3 is 30. Okay, so do not distribute, right? Just multiply. Okay, let's go to number 13, example 13. Okay, example 13, you multiply negative 2, negative 5, negative 3, negative 4. So you can first take care of the sign. So you got negative, 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 negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be positive. Because this 2 will make a positive, this 2 will be positive. So positive and positive will give you positive. So now when you multiply, try to get a 10 whenever you can. Okay? So this will give you 10 and this will give you 12. So answer will be 120. Okay? So this is very quick. Let's go to example 14. Okay, well, before the example 14, there's a term, it's called a multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. Inverse means reciprocal, means you flip it over. Okay, and so the property, so multiplicative inverse property is when you have a number, you times it by its reciprocal, it will equal to 1. So again, inverse means you flip it over. So when you multiply something that you flip it over, you're going to end up with 1. Okay. And these two are called reciprocals. Okay. So these are reciprocals, means they are flipped upside down with each other. So go to example 14a. So when you have a 5, the reciprocal would be 1 over 5. Again, you're looking for reciprocals. So if you go to B, you have negative 1 over 3. So your reciprocal would be, when you flip upside down, so it would be negative 3. Okay, so you can reciprocal means flip it upside down. So make sure you'll be familiar with this term, reciprocal. reciprocals. Okay? Okay, so make sure you know this term. Reciprocals means you flip it upside down. Okay? And so the inverse is a reciprocal. Okay, so multiplicative inverse of 3 over 4 is, okay, so you can use the arrow. So you can reciprocal, that's a multiplicative inverse. So this means reciprocal. That's what I mean. So it'd be 4 over 3.